Okay, custom request is ready here for Mike AC. This is Rick Derringer with Real American. And Mike, you want to tune standard on this? I noticed, because I checked the live stuff too when I can. There wasn't a whole lot, but live it looks like Rick Derringer tuned down a half step. Not real uncommon. A lot of bands do that. Usually for the vocalist, you know, to get his vocal range down a little bit lower to where the higher notes you don't have to stretch as much for him. So, but this was the official one off the record. So this is the tuning for that standard. So what I have, I sectioned out all the rhythms for you. When it goes back and does a repeat, it'll just say section 1 one time, or section 2 2 times, section 3 4 times, or whatever, instead of writing what's already existing. Plus the benefit to that too, Mike, is and I'm not sure how long you've been playing, but you know, you want to get to where you have this stuff memorized, and that's what I think one of the cool things about tablature is. If you have somewhat of a decent ear and memory, you memorize this stuff, and the goal is to not have to have the book in front of you. Now when you get to the solo in this song, you'll see numbers in there like a circled 1, and then you'll see like 7 or 8 notes, and then a circled 2 and like maybe 5 or 6 notes. What I did was what I call subgrouping, or technically my term is rock and block subgroup. But the whole concept is getting something in smaller pieces. It's easier to perfect, articulate, and play it with the right dynamics and feel that's needed. It's how I learned, really, and it's how I've been teaching too. So anyways, let's do it, man. Let's jump into this. Really cool on these chords, man. I was you know, Rick Derringer obviously is a legend, great guitar player. The chords in here, I'm just gonna strum them through the first time through for you. We have that'll wind up being section 1, and I put parentheses too, so you'll see on the tabs when they're emailed how it's set up. That's section 1. So if I'm not mistaken, you mentioned spend a little extra time on the solos, but I will briefly go through the rhythm in here as well, even though it's tabbed out and everything. For fingering reasons, because sometimes the wrong fingering can really make things harder. So you want to bar the 2nd fret on the D and the G, basically string 4 all the way to the bottom. But it's weird to just like bar that. You can go ahead and be touching the B and E. Your pressure's on 2nd fret D and G, and then your pinky go over to the 5th fret on the B and E and bar those. So you have, those are your 4 notes. So you're gonna strum those. Then G major, the 4-finger version, you're probably familiar with this. 3 2 open open 3 3 from the low E down, and you'll strum that once. And then we go to a D. Leave your 3rd finger on the 3rd fret B if that's the finger you're using there, and then 1st finger 2 G, and hit the D, G, and the B string. And then we're going to move to C add 9, and leave your 3rd finger as well on that 3rd fret B, and then go middle finger 3A, 1st finger 2D, and strum strings 5 through 2. So you have, again, and then we're going to go, so bar the 2nd fret again on the D and G, and then go 5th fret only on the B string. There's keyboard playing through this too, and sometimes it's a little tricky to separate the keyboard depending on what sound the keyboard player uses from the guitar tone. So I noticed some of the higher tones that you're hearing in the rhythm sounds like it's coming off the keyboard. Okay, so on this part, 2 2 5, go 2 times D, G, and B, and then open open 3 D, G, and B, and then right back to 2 2 5 D, G, and B. So up to there it's, and then 2nd fret on the D and G, just bar it, hit those 2, and then hit them open, and then back to the 2nd fret again. And then the next chunk, it's basically like starting over the 2-2-5-5. Well, I'll just play it up to tempo. And you'll see there's a change up on the end where it goes to D major. So 2-2-5-5, the G major, the D, C add 9, back to the 2-2-5, D, G, and B. That's basically A major. Twice, and then the open 3, D, G, B. And then here's the change. You go to D major, 2E, high E, 3B, 2G, open D. One more time on this section and we're moving to the next part. So we have. And then when the verse kicks in and Rick starts singing, at first it didn't sound like any guitar was there, and as I listened closer I heard what he was doing. And you probably already know this type of riff if you've been playing for a while. And I noticed live he played something completely different. But here's what this part is. Okay, so thank you, Joe.
You're welcome. Real Americans drink coffee.
Real Americans drink coffee, that's right. Okay, so on this part you want to palm mute, and another thing, Mike, you'll notice I did a legend. Basically, any of the techniques that are in here, whether it's a pull-off or hammer-on, vibrato or slide, a strum mark, it's all notated in there. Double dots for repeat, X equals palm mute. You'll find all that stuff, at least for our first custom lesson. If you want, I'll put it on all of them, but because certain people use different ones, like the arrow for the bend, staple for down, V for up. You'll see it all on here. Okay, so you want to palm mute, and right in front of the bridge here. Don't let it go up too far. And it's the old blues riff. Go open A, 2nd fret D with your first finger, palm mute, and play them both together 2 times. And then 3rd finger, 4th fret D, and do the same exact thing with that open A in it. Pinky 5th fret D 2 times with the open A. And then back to the 4th fret D with the open A 2 times. And you'll see double dots around that, so you're going to repeat. He's probably playing a little softer because it's not really loud in the mix when they were in the recording studio. And then the next chunk of this section is the first part of section 1, which was the. And then you'll see double dots. You'll go back and repeat all of section 2. Alright, so section 3, pretty cool part here. You'll go 1st fret E, 3rd fret A, and 2nd fret D. You're going to palm mute those 3 strings, play them 4 times, and then you'll see the strum marks in there, Mike, when you see the tabs. It really just speeds things up a little bit. It's just a continuation of the previous. Think of it that way. So we have 4 times, and then we need 1-3 open. So just get rid of that 2nd fret D and go 4 times. And be careful on that your 3rd finger or whatever finger you choose to use on the 3rd fret A isn't leaning down on the string below, or it'll mute it out. And if you don't hear it, it's not going to really present much of a change. So, and then we have 3rd fret E, 7th fret A, palm mute 4 times, and then 3rd fret E, 5th fret A, 5th fret D 4 times. And then you'll see double dots, so that section 3 is going to be 2 times total. Okay, then we have section 4. I think this is the chorus, and it's going to go. Okay, so pretty straightforward. You probably know these chords. It's D. We're going 5, 7, 7 on the A, D, and G 16 times. Little things. And like I said, Mike, I haven't heard you play. Maybe I need to check out a video of you playing, because some of these things I'm explaining, you might already know. But I like to explain it. Better to be safe than sorry, at least for this first lesson here. I take my index and I touch the low E string right underneath of it to mute it. Because he's kind of strumming away. Even if you watch in the video, you'll see, you know, what's happening with it. So you got, if you don't mute it, one bad sour note can ruin the whole thing. That's all I'm getting at with that. 16 times on those 3 strings. And then this chord sounds really cool here. Go open A and then 5th fret barred on the D, G, and B 16 times. You may want to take your thumb and mute the low E. Back to the D, 5, 7, 7. Then we got an F. It's 1 E, 3 A, 3 D, 8 times. And then this is G chord, G major, go 3 E, 2 A, open D, open G. Okay, that is the chorus, by the way. Then you will see the section repeats in your tabs. Section 1, 1 time. Section 2, 2 times. Section 3, 4 times. And then the next thing that comes up in the song is the guitar solo. And I subgrouped that for you. You'll see the number 1 with the notes like I was mentioning earlier. So it's 15 on the high E string, first finger. And then you're going to see the 17th fret on the high E 4 times. But on that 4th one, you almost want to think of it, I maybe should have subgrouped that part different, but it'll be, so it's, you'll wind up going 17, 15, down up on the high E, and then down on 17B. That's the first subgroup of the guitar solo. And the reason, Mike, I like to do those, I did mention it earlier, you build up a kind of like a groove through something, and the sense of rhythm comes together if you loop it. In other words, play it, the first subgroup of this solo, and then play it like 10 times in a row, and try to make a beat with it. Try to keep, if you have a drum machine, that'll help too. But if you can naturally feel it, cool. That was 4 of them, but I mean he only does 1. Okay, the next one is, it's got the pretty good bend in it here too. 15E, 17E. And then pick the 17 again, you'll see an arrow going up with a 1.5 fraction. That means it's a 1.5 fret bend. So when you bend this is an A note. You're bending it to a C, which is fret 20 there. It should sound like that. So that's up there. Put a couple fingers behind that 3rd finger to help bend it. And then pick the 17 high E again. And then 15E, 17B. So subgroup 2 is this. Okay, subgroup 3 is the unison bends. You'll bend the 15th fret on the B, and if you watch guitar players been playing for a while, you'll notice stuff like this. Because here's what it sounds like first. He's going, and by unison it means it's the same note. So we're bending this 15th fret on the B with our 3rd finger, putting the middle finger behind it, bend it a whole step, and then 12th fret on the high E, which is already an E. Okay, so you'll go 4 times of that. That's it for that subgroup. Let's see, that's the 3rd one? Yes, and then the 4th one is only 3 notes. And it's, let me see, let me take it from subgroup 3. Yeah, 15B, and I put 2 fingers behind. Oops. I put 2 fingers behind on that one. And it's just to give you added stability and strength when you're doing a bend. If you use 1 finger, sometimes it's real shaky. It gives you more control. Bend it a whole step, release it, and then 13B, and then 14G vibrato. And it kind of sounded to me like he was, I couldn't find a video showing, but it sounded like a whammy bar vibrato, really, like he went. But either way, that vibrato will mimic it if you don't have a whammy bar. Riff number 5 in the solo, and you're probably familiar with this. It's the old Chuck Berry riff. 7G, 3rd finger, put your middle finger right behind it to help bend it, and bar the 5th fret on the B and E, and you'll go 5 times of this. 5 of those. That's all it is for riff 5. Or so. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 6th one, which is my favorite one, he goes. Oops. There it is. Slow down. Oh, so you're bending the 7th fret G again with 3rd finger and middle behind it, and put your 1st finger on 5G, because that's where we're going to end up pulling it off to. So it's a bend release, pull off to 5, 7D, and then upstroke 7G, down 6G, upstroke 7D, down 7A, up 5D, down 7A, up 7D. Okay? And then riff 7 is open A, 5D, hammer to 7, and I gotta turn the page here, and then pick the 7 2 more times, so, and then riff number 8 is this. Yeah. There's another subgroup for you. Riff 8 is actually a really cool blues riff. And that's 10-8 on the B. You're pulling off to the 8th fret. And then 9G, 8-10B. And then you'll see a 8 on the high E. And you'll see a 1/4 fraction. That just means it's a quarter step bend. Well, guitar is broken up in half steps. So the only way to gauge it is basically by feel. Just think of your half step, which would be, it's half that distance for a quarter step. Just a real slight bend. Okay, so you have, and then you'll see section 3 2 times, section 4 fade out, and that's how it ends. And then I wasn't sure if you wanted it, but there's a second guitar that comes in at about 2 minutes 27 seconds, and it's pretty much this concept for all of it. He's going, let's see, 15, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Let's see, 22, 15, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 17. I put 22 in the book. I gotta adjust that to a 20. He's kind of playing around with it, like a bend on the 22B. I put the middle finger behind it, and then down up on the 17 high E, and I put etc. because he's just kind of playing around on that, like a. That's being played over the section 4, which I believe was the chorus. But anyways, Mike, if you have any questions, let me know. I tried to do everything in this to make sure that you wouldn't have any questions. I like to put the picking, because some things are different with certain guitar players. It doesn't always, the way I play it may be a little bit different as far as the picking direction than the next person would. I try and get this as close as I can to the original, but try to follow the way that I did the layout for you with the subgrouping of the solos. I guarantee you it'll solidify the solo. And we're getting ready to do the Dio Rainbow in the Dark solo, and that's that one's going to be a jammer. And I'm definitely going to subgroup all those for you as well. So everything should be clear on that tab. If it's not, hit me up. Enjoy doing this, man. I'm a Rick Derringer fan myself, so take it easy, have fun with it, play slow, speed it up, and I'd like to hear you play, man. I don't know if there's a way we can do that if you got something on your Facebook, but we'll talk about that later. Thanks a lot, Mike AC, and we'll talk to you later.